The WiFiLink 2 is a pretty decent VTX and performs actually pretty well with the most recent firmware. And that can also be applied to the VRX as well. There's actually some hidden performance just by keeping these devices current. But I do think I can get even more performance just by changing these antennas. So today we'll be doing just that. So let's begin. Okay, so before we start stripping this drone and removing these antennas here, let's talk about what we currently have in the VTX as well as the VRX. So in the drone here, this VTX here is equipped with 2 linear antennas connected via a UFL connector. Nothing crazy, it does the job. These are provided by Runcam, but these are kind of the cheapest antennas on the market. They perform okay, but not the best thing on the market. You can do a lot better with these. These are more for efficiency and for cost savings. Now going over here to the VRX, we have a combination of antennas on here. We have 4 antennas on the VRX. Now you have 2 stubbies on here. These are actually, they look very nice. These are left-hand circular polarized antennas. And then on top we have 2 linear antennas. So these 2 should drive relatively well. There's a mismatch of antennas. You do have the linear and linear right here, so that's pretty good. But you also have a left-hand circular polarized, which doesn't really jive well with these linear antennas on my VTX. Now I have all my supplies here for today's upgrade, and I've given this just a little bit of thought here. Now the big thing here is to upgrade the antennas. And yes, I could have gone with some UFL premium antennas, but I do have existing antennas in my fleet right here. All of our drones come with antennas, and I think this would be a worthy upgrade. Now the problem here is that these antennas on the VRX, they are left-hand circular polarized. Now if you intend to keep these, you do want to keep the same polarity. Most of my antennas, they are right-hand circular polarized just because I do fly a lot of analog drones, and it also works well with HD0 as well. Now Runcam did go with left-hand circular polarized, which is on par with some of the other manufacturers like say DJI and even Walk Snail. So I do think I'm going to try to keep with that. Now it's not to your advantage to switch or mix polarities. So if you do have left-hand circular polarized on your VRX, you do want to have left-hand on your VTX, and vice versa. If you have right-hand circular on your drone, you do want to have right-hand circular polarized on your VRX. Now the next thing of concern before you do this is the actual connections. Now I have UFL down here, so this isn't going to work. This is more like a SMA connectors, and most of my antennas are SMAs. The same thing applies here with the VRX. It looks like an SMA connector, but all of these are RP SMAs, and you can't really install a SMA connector to an RP SMA. It's just not gonna work. So you do have to shop accordingly and make sure you don't spend too much money in the process. So what is my solution here? Well, I have some right here. I do have some true RC RP SMA antennas. These were used actually on my Walk Snail VRX, and that should be a pretty cool addition for my VRX. Now the drone here is a little bit more complicated. Now that I've chosen to go left-hand circular polarized, I do need to have left-hand circular polarized for my drone or my VTX as well. For this case, I am gonna go left-hand circular polarized. Now, I could easily just buy a left-hand circular polarized UFL antenna, but then I'm kind of locked into that ecosystem. So what's the next best step? I've gotten these adapters right here. This is a UFL to SMA connector, and that's gonna allow me to actually install any antenna to my drone just by screwing or unscrewing it. So that's the way I'm gonna go today. So I actually purchased some of these. These are by Xylo. These are left-hand circular polarized 5.8 gigahertz antennas. And these should be hopefully a good balance or a good upgrade. These are relatively cheap. I think less than $20 for 2 antennas, and you can get them in various lengths. So I'll leave this link down below if you wanna take a look at it. Hopefully they perform very well today. Last but not least, I have a TPU mount here. This is like the 3rd time I'm changing the TPU mount on this drone. Obviously I have one here for these smaller linear antennas, but this is not gonna work with these SMA connectors. So I'll leave this 3D printed mount down below so you can print one for yourself if you want to. Let's get this thing started here. First of all, I'm not gonna bore you with disassembling this thing, but we just gotta take off the top plate here. There we go. Get this out of here. Anyways, first thing is to remove this TPU, at least slide it off. This is like my 4th or 5th time doing this. That's off. It's just like 3 or 4 actual bolts holding this to the frame. So we're just gonna release the VTX from the frame. All right, so we have our VTX free. Time to get this secure plate off this. I'll spare you the torture. This screw is so small. And this is where you gotta be really delicate, guys. You don't wanna damage these UFL connectors. Sweet. They're both off, and here's my older TPU that's going to the trash. Now, before I actually put this in here, I'll have to install this adapter. There's a nut in here, and this is gonna secure it to the actual frame. Let's see if we can thread this through here. That's a flipping tight fit. Let's see if we can do the other one. It's in there. Okay, that one went in pretty nice. All right. We've just converted from UFL to SMA. All right, the hard part is done, is it? I don't know. We'll see right now. Time to freaking attach this UFL. Let's connect these. It's gonna be hard for you to see on the camera here, but all right. We have one in. These new connectors here are very tight, to say the least. Oh, that one went up pretty easy. As you can see, I was worried about the length of them, but the length is not a problem, guys. So I'm gonna reinstall the VTX, make sure this looks neat as possible. Actually, I can't do that. Let me put the, let's put the plate back on, the secure plate back on here. Here we go. Jeez. All right, VTX is back in. All right, let's do it. All right. Trying to look if I'm doing any damage here. It looks okay, it looks okay. There it is. That doesn't look too bad. All right, let's put the top plate back on. It's as easy as that. That was straightforward. I think we're good. Screw this back on here. That looks sick. Look at that. All right, the time is here. Let's just screw this puppy on. I mean, why wait, right? Left-hand circular polarize. Let's do it together. Let's just screw this on. Cool. Screw this other one on. Dude, this looks amazing. They look pretty close. I can just split them to the side. It is flexible a little bit. Yeah, look at this. All right, let's upgrade the antennas on the actual VRX. This one is very, very simple. I'm gonna keep the actual left-hand circular polarized, the one that came with the run cam antennas on here, and we'll remove these linear antennas since theoretically they don't perform as well. All right, so I have my TrueRC RPSMA, and this is super stealth, guys. We have like black on both. These antennas here aren't very tall, so I don't know, but there it is. Left hand, left hand, left hand, left hand, left hand, and left hand. So this should be really cool, guys. This is how you upgrade it, guys. This is my theory. This is my way of doing it. So let's go outside, take this for a flight, and see how it performs compared to the linear antennas. All right, guys, we're here at the park again. Another beautiful day. Light winds. It's very hot. I don't know why I'm even wearing this sweater here, but we do have our WiFiLink 2 here with some new external antennas, some more premium antennas here. These are left-hand circular polarized. Now, the only change I made to this right here is actually change this from the codec from H.264 to H.265. So we'll see if there's any difference there, but we're gonna go further down and see how these things here perform. Okay, cool. We're gonna start with 720p 120 and then go up to 1080p and see if there's any difference in here. Air mode, and let's arm this thing here. 720 120. H.265. Well, I can tell you right away, it feels good. It feels good. Bitrate 4 megabits per second. It's a nice sunny day. I'm still running Ruby 10.8, guys, only because I know what to expect with Ruby 10.8. My last test was using this firmware, and I know what to expect. So this should show a difference here. All right. This is sick. All right, so far so good. So here is where we were last time, and we didn't fly so low. I'm using adaptive link, two-way link here. All right, it's holding on. It's holding on. Let's go over here. Okay. So this is better. I could not go this low earlier. Let's go a little lower down. How do I dare? It's not bad, guys. This is exactly what I expect. This is significantly better. There's a glitch right there, my first glitch of the day. All right, let's see if we can go lower down. Okay, that's where we get the problems. All right, there's a stutter right there. All right, I would say this is a super win, guys. This is sick. So there you go. This answers my question so far. The stock antenna with your WiFiLink 2, it probably is okay, but you can probably benefit from some upgraded antennas. So this is a win for me immediately. There's only upward from here. Over here usually has interference. So let's see how we do over here. Let's drop down a bit. All my digital FPV systems break up over here. And as you can see, it is rock steady. Now, I don't have any directional antennas on my VRX, just W's, forced W's, and it's looking pretty good still. I am so excited to try 1080p. So here you go. So if you have patch antennas, you might get better results. Yeah, this is sick. All right, image quality needs to be improved, so we're gonna go 1080p here next. I usually get breakup right here as well, between these trees. And there you go. Just a little bit of the usual smearing. And this is two-way, so if I go one way, it's not gonna do that. But I do wanna try bi-directional, so that's why I left it on. All right, so let's land this puppy here. All right, cool. Not bad. So let's change the settings on this quickly. We're gonna go to 1080p. Quick camera settings. Oopsie, video settings, I'm sorry. And you can see my settings here, bidirectional on, 720 was on at 120. So let's go to 1080p, that's what I want. 1080. All right, it should go to 90 frames per second, which is good. Let's see if we get some image on here. As you can see, I'm doing this at channel 5885, looks pretty good. I'll leave bidirectional on, and then 60 frames per second, that's normal for this, and then 4 megabits per second, H.265. All right, image looks a little bit better. Let's arm it. And I suspect I'm gonna have less range, but the image quality is better, as you can see. What do you guys think about this, guys? This looks pretty good. H.265, 1080p. And I don't suspect we're gonna have a good link this time because we're flowing more data. So it's gonna be hard to hold on to that bit rate at 1080p. I could be wrong, but we'll find out. All right, here we go, sync down here. It's holding at 1080p. You can see the grass is very, very mushy, but it's holding it. This is the power here of bi-directional. It's doing a really good job. So I would probably take this over to 720 because the resolution is a little bit better. And bi-directional is doing whatever it takes, or adaptive link is doing whatever it takes to keep the link on here. Got some breakup in there, but this is my high interference area of this whole park is right here. Bird is trying to chase me right from this nest. Most likely there's a nest around here or something. So you can see where I was, and here I am. I like 1080p, guys. All right, that looks damn good. So I'm gonna land it, and I don't suspect good range this time. I'm gonna take the bi-directional off if we can actually get a really good image here quick. Video settings. We're gonna turn that off, go to straight fixed way, one way, boom. As you can see, the profile, the video profile still is high performance. We can change that a little bit later. But anyways, let's try one way, and then later on we'll change the profile from performance to image quality. Camera angle has decreased a bit because of the hard landings. All right, so we should have really good image in here now. Should. You can see the grass a little bit better, a little bit. There's some jello in there on my HD0 goggles here. I'm sure it's gonna show up in the recording as well. There's some jello in there. And with one way, your integrity, your link integrity isn't gonna be there, so. Let's see how well this antenna does. It's probably gonna smear a lot sooner. But I couldn't fly this low earlier with the linear stock antenna, so this is a win for me as well. Okay, there's the breakup. So I get more of a traditional, oh, there you go. Haha, I look at my bars on the screen. So this is the reason why I kept all this telemetry up in this flight here, these next couple test flights, because you can see what the actual reception is, what the telemetry is saying. So you can see that adaptive link does help with penetration and range. But to me, in my opinion, because you're not using adaptive, you're gonna have a variable image quality. And I want to have a constant image quality, as you can see right here. The image looks amazing. And this is just at 4 megabits per second, as you can see in the parentheses here. By the way, guys, I'm still getting used to all this Ruby FPV. The number here, the bitrate on top, it says 6.3. Is that the max capable, like what it can provide at this current moment? And the parentheses is actually what I'm asking of it. I think that's what's going on, because I'm asking for 4, obviously. But you can see the image quality is, to me, more consistent, more stable with the one way. And once you put bidirectional, your image is gonna vary at the sacrifice of link quality. So I like this because I like to see a good image. All right, so I'm gonna land this and then, yeah, give you my opinions on this. Battery is fading quickly. All right, there it is. 8 minutes of actual flight time between those 3 flights. All right, guys, so with this new antenna on here, this thing delivered a pretty good image, guys. I'm very pleased with the performance from these antennas. This is a very, very cheap antenna. I actually had to order these. These are left-hand circular polarized, and I wanted to match it with the ones that came with the VRX. But at the time, I had a selection of what I wanted. I could have gotten some more premium antennas, more expensive. These are like $20 for 2, really good price. And I also could get these in different lengths as well. I got a medium length, so it doesn't seem too crazy, but you can get some longer ones for longer range penetration, especially if you're going away from yourself or coming back to you. This battery here isn't gonna block the antennas. In my setup right here, the batteries are tall enough so that it rises above the actual top of this battery right here. So I do think this is a pretty good setup overall. But guys, I do think that this is I would say yes, I would say this is a must upgrade for your VTX. I'm not trying to promote parts by any means, but I've gotten significantly better integrity as far as my link, my video quality, and obviously I can increase the bit rate and as you saw, the resolution. And this is good. At this point, it's just a matter of tweaking the settings. This is just with the 4 megabits per second bit rate. I will be doing a test immediately after this right now, because now that I have these antennas, I'm gonna give my final impressions on this VTX here and the VRX with this antenna setup. This is gonna be my final setup for this and determine the actual performance of OpenIPC and Ruby FPV as a whole at the time of filming. Obviously, it's gonna change in the future with further upgrades and further firmware updates. Right now, I'm just rocking 10.8. There is 11.0 right now currently available, but since I did know the performance of 10.8 and I did my testing in the past with 10.8, I decided to do these testing here with these newer antennas with 10.8 to see the difference in performance. And the results are a lot better, guys. So as I said, this is highly recommended. Just put some external antennas on these. and I think you'll have a really good, I guess, performance and just experience overall with OpenIPC as a whole with these antennas. But yeah, we're gonna do some further testing. We're gonna change the bit rate right now. We're gonna change the resolution and see if I can get even further with this whole system here. So if you wanna see that video, hit that subscribe button. Therefore, you'll be notified whenever I do drop that video. As you can see, I have a big smile on my face. I'm pretty excited. We've come a long way since I first used this VTX and VRX on this drone. And as you saw my first experience, it wasn't too hot. And as you can see right now, it's a pretty good experience, guys. Anyways, let me know what you think about the image quality, about OpenIPC as a whole with this upgrade right here. I say upgrade, but just change the antennas. Let me know what you think about the system right now. If you want to see further videos as far as Ruby 11.0, as well as my overall thoughts on OpenIPC or Ruby FPV as a whole and where we currently sit, hit that subscribe button there for you to be notified whenever I do drop that video. So I'm kind of hyped. I'm gonna go change the batteries, change some settings, and take it for a flight. So thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.